I quit my job blowing leaves, telephone bills up my sleeves, choking like a one-man dustball, Freedom Rock slime ball talking in code. We went down, lit up the shack, grabbed me a beer out of the sack. Everybody bent over twice, painting the walls, throwing some dice, leaping up into the air, getting juiced up beyond belief. And they were singing like this. It's still going. It's still going.
My mind is blown. What was going on there?
I did a sort of dub remix of JD Stomp. Sort of dub remix.
That was beautiful.
Thank you.
Oh, please.
I'm glad you appreciate it. I'm going to try and work up some remixes of it, which is weird because it's a mixed 4-track tape.
Yeah, well, I liked it.
Did you like the kind of volcano explosion on that snare beat? Yeah,
I liked it all.
Thank
I mean, my mind is a bit blown. I'm still processing the last episode.
Yes.
You know, that was crazy. All that creativity and trimmings.
All those trimmings.
And Dale,
the legend.
Dale Davis, the legend, bass player to the stars, talking to you.
Apologies if you are a new listener to the podcast. Welcome to This Are Johnny Domino, a hopefully entertaining podcast where myself and my brother Giles,
hello,
listen to songs that we wrote and recorded about 30 years ago. And we talk about the memories that come up from them and listen to them with our aged ears and appraise them.
Yeah, that's how it all started. Deciding to kind of listen back to some old stuff.
Mm.
But as I think we're going to get into today, it's not just about old stuff.
No.
You know, we're looking ahead as well, aren't we, Steve?
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are. But yeah, it's just nice to kind of talk about our music and not just our music, how it links to other music. And it's not meant to be kind of self-congratulatory or us kind of going, look at us, we're amazing. But we're just sharing stuff. And we would like other people to share stuff on this podcast too.
Absolutely.
So, you know, if you're a listener and you're the sort of person who makes music or has made music, get involved. Send us some stuff. There are engagement opportunities, which we'll talk about later. But you can just send us some stuff. Send us any stuff.
Yeah. Particularly if you recorded on a 4-track or on a bedroom tape recorder in your youth and you would like the world to hear your pre or post-pubescent genius blasting across the internet, and we would like to listen to it, comment on it, criticize it. And if you send it in and we like it, we will give you a T-shirt and you become a member of
the Eternal Halls of the 4-Track Gods.
There you go. So that's a lot of housekeeping to get through.
Yeah. To be fair, Steve, I'd quite like to hear it, like new stuff that people have recorded too. So, you know, send us any old shit, basically.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it. Right. The first song that we're going to listen to today, we were flagging it up. Was it last episode or the one before? I can't remember.
Well, we had a conversation with my friend Jock.
Was that last episode?
That was the one before when we talked about a song called Where to Go From Here.
Yes. We were like hankering after hearing some of Jock's band. We wanted to hear Peru, right? He is a drummer primarily, but in Peru, he's like a songwriter as well.
Yeah, vocalist, guitarist.
Yeah.
And Jock, just so you know, is the nickname that he was given at school. He is Scottish, but It's not a term of abuse. That was the name that he went by. His real name is Brian. He was also known as the Archdeacon of Pop. And the Johnny Domino story basically starts because of Brian, because he was playing in a band called Peru, and he had a single that he was recording, and he wanted to record it on a 4-track, and I was the only person he knew who could work a 4-track. So we borrowed it and recorded the first Johnny Domino songs on it while I was recording the Peru songs. Peru went through a number of lineups, and eventually, certainly over the later years, it was a recording project where Jock would come around the house and we would work up a song together, and he would play some guitar and sing, and I would basically play whatever the song needed to finish it off. And this is one of them. It also features, as a guest vocalist, my brother Giles. There's a couple of lyrics in that song that really make me think of Jock. There's the one about you crawl further up your own arse with every day that pass, and novel ways of axing you aren't so easy now to find.
That line just gets me every time. I love that because that just sounds like him talking.
Novel ways of axing you.
Yeah. I really love that song.
I know, you picked that. Yeah.
I heard it again recently. I haven't listened to it for ages. And it really hit me. And a lot of the Peru stuff, actually, I've been listening to it and I really like it. And, you know, I didn't totally love it at the time. I was a bit like, oh, this is a bit too indie schmindy for me. I'm not into this, you know. I liked it because it was Jock. But I was a bit like, oh, that's not what I'm into. But I loved it, yeah.
I'll be honest, I was the person recording them, and at the start, I wasn't really into it that much myself.
Yeah.
I think I probably saw it as a way to practice recording things on the 4-track.
Yeah.
And then I got really into it, especially as it went on and I got more involved with building the songs up. And I agree. I've got really happy memories of recording those songs. That one was just Jock on acoustic guitar and vocals, me on bass and electric guitar, and you singing backup. But I need to give a shout out to Chris because he played bass in Peru originally, and I was definitely channeling him with that sort of bass line that I came up with there. Hi, Chris. Hi, Chris.
I think a lot of the Peru stuff, really nice, open-hearted kind of songs, you know. I really enjoyed that one. It just has the real sense, the lyrics of like that feeling of being tangled up in a relationship with somebody and it being confusing and not entirely good. And I don't know, I just really think he got it in those lyrics. I really like it. And he's right, you can't do it all the time.
It's not a healthy relationship at all. As I say, I've got really great memories of recording stuff with Jock. And I'm looking at their Bandcamp page, and apparently they're playing in Miami on Saturday at the Hard Rock Stadium. And then they're playing in France in July at Le Molotov.
Is that a different band called Peru?
I don't know, but Jock, if you're listening, I'm down for playing in Miami.
I'll come and do some backing
vocals. Or Marseille. Yeah, I can rock up and do some stuff. So
anytime you want us, man.
Do get in touch, my friend.
Yeah, I'm happy to come and do World of Jason backing vocals next time you play. I'm there.
So that was Peru. It's not a Johnny Domino song, but it's all kind of intertwined. And
it's Johnny Domino adjacent.
Absolutely. Very much adjacent. Yes, the world of adjacent. Now, in preparation for recording this episode of the podcast, I did say to you, Giles, I had a surprise song that was related to one of the songs that we had slated to talk about.
I know, I'm a bit nervous. I'm not sure what you're going to play.
I was listening to some of our old recordings, and there are a couple of songs that I'd thought, well, I'm never going to talk about that. And I thought I'll give it a quick listen, one of them in particular. And see, this is one of those things that I don't want it to sound arrogant, but I had it in my head for the rest of the day, the melody that you came up with for this song. It's very short. And like you say, we were not really into the indie pop type thing, but occasionally we had a go. And this song is probably about as close as we got to it when it was just me and you recording songs as Johnny Domino.
Okay. Well, I have no idea what this song is. It's a surprise song. So it's going to be a genuine reaction when you play it. For me, I don't want that stuff again. It either never really happens or it drags on. Too tangled up not to use a knife. But just hold on a minute. Just hold on a minute. Here comes my brand new complication. Could blow up if you you don't stop going on. This is just what I don't need. No time to kill and a big enough phone bill. But I can't help it. But I can't help it. She's my brand new complication. Well, that's a song that I'd completely forgotten about.
Yeah. I mean, it's only short. It's about a minute and a half long. But yeah,
I'd completely forgotten about that. I'd not heard that since we recorded it, I don't think.
Probably not, no.
Yeah?
That was from summer 1994.
Wow.
Like I say, I was never going to talk about it, but I heard it the other day by chance. And I thought, well, that's nice. And it's also about being tangled up in a relationship.
It is.
It kind of links.
Yeah, it is. It's like we're going through the same sort of things, I suppose, at that age, you know.
Yeah.
I don't really remember anything about writing it or anything. And you know, it's kind of ironic from what I was just saying. Like, I was a bit sort of dismissive of all the Peru stuff and it all being a bit indie schmindy. And that was like, none more schmindy, is it really?
No.
That? Yeah.
Big open G chords and things like that.
Yeah. I did quite like it. It was all right. What I liked about it most was it was big old Steve there in the background singing his BVs.
My BVs, yeah. I was really not feeling singing at that point.
That didn't happen very often, did it? You were never keen on doing the singing.
No. But there I was, and I had a go. I mean, it was a few years before I started singing stupidly high and loud. And if you kind of imagine those backing vocals being an octave higher, they probably would sound better, but I quite like them as well. Again, it's so long ago. I haven't got a huge memory of writing or recording that.
No.
But yeah, I liked it.
My favourite vocals you ever did was probably Hot Sex Mama.
Well, you know, when you start from that high point, you
hit the peak there, man.
Too early.
Hot sex mama with your bottom on fire. Bring your love to me. I need your body. I need your soul. Baby, come and see me.
Yeah. Oh, the memories. It's good to listen to that one again.
Yeah.
Lovely. What are we doing now?
This is a song by the Johnny Domino band formation. And this is from an album called Players. That was our second album that we recorded, and it's probably the best thing we did because it's quite short. You know, it fits. No, but I mean, it was edited, and it was kind of like, okay, 9 songs, very little chaff on it.
I like our prog stuff a bit more, though.
Yeah, I think that doesn't age quite so well, as we're going to talk in a bit. But yeah, this is a song from the album. It's a song called "This One's for the Kid."
Yeah.
Can you remember why it's called that?
Yeah, I do remember why it's called that, right? Because the lyrics, the first section, lyrics are kind of about posterity, asking whether, like, doing stuff for posterity, is it really worth the effort? It's kind of being a bit ironic about it. You know, there's a lyric in it that's dig us up and shake our hands. It's like, you know, if we connect, then just dig us up and shake our hands because we finally got through. It's like, you know, what's the point?
The ironic thing is, no one did dig us up and shake our hands. So we dug ourselves up and are shaking our own hands. It's the sound of 2 hands shaking.
Yeah, well, all right. Yeah, I mean, you know, give it time, Steve. It's only a few years have gone by. It's like, not yet. I mean, we're talking about, you know, posterity, right? You know, things come through in time, you know?
Yeah. This song is 25 years old, this song.
Yeah, I know, but, you know, things could be, we could be looking way off into the future here. It starts off the song as one thing, and then it goes into something else.
planet spins around. I don't know what we've done. They can say we didn't try, but nature can be cruel. So if you find this in the future and it means something to you, then dig us up and shake our hands because we finally got through. So if you find this in the future and it means something to you, then dig us up and shake our hands because we finally got through. Thanks for all the good times. You really helped us through. Your faces and your minds were blank, but you were never cruel. The easy times are up ahead. They can't take that away. Summer days in concrete, but this one's for the kid. So if you find this in the future and it means something to you, then dig us up and shake our hands because we finally got through. So if you find this in the future and it means something to you, then dig us up and shake our hands because we finally got through. 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 Because we finally got through.
Powerful.
Powerful.
Yeah.
A song of two halves.
So I was modelling it on Billy Joel's Scenes from an Italian Restaurant.
Yeah, I got that.
Big time. Right, a couple of things. Can you remember there was a third part to it?
No.
When I wrote that music, there was a third part to it.
Yeah, I want to.
And I demoed it, and it's shocking.
Oh, right, okay.
So it just stopped after the second bit. I mean, I think we always had an idea that if we ever made a video for it, there'll be dancing girls coming on when the beat changes.
That's not very 2024, is it?
Could be postmodern.
Anyway, I think that first bit, when I was listening to it then, what it made me think of then was like Monty Python, actually.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It might be something about Jim's delivery, or maybe Bonzo Dog Doodle Band.
Like a Neil Innes thing.
Yeah, definitely a bit, yeah. I think I wrote the lyrics for the first bit, and then Jim wrote the second bit. But I quite like the way that the two bits go together. I like the juxtaposition thing. It's all about, like, you know, the pointlessness of doing stuff, thinking about the future. Thinking about the future, you know, thinking about other people's reaction to stuff, I suppose. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
It made me think of, there's an episode of Doctor Who, right? Bear with me.
All right.
An episode of Doctor Who. It's not a really old episode, but it's where he goes back to Van Gogh. He visits Van Gogh, the famous painter.
Yeah, thanks. We need for the slow ones at the back.
Van Gogh obviously didn't have any success in his life, right? He didn't sell any paintings famously, right?
Yeah.
And he lived a rather tragic life and ended up dying under tragic circumstances. But he was this tortured genius who just churned out all of this stuff. Obviously, Doctor Who goes to see him. And I don't know what.
Obviously, Doctor Who goes to see him.
I can't remember what happens, right? But Doctor Who and his assistant take him to the future. I think they take him to I don't know which gallery it is, but it's a gallery somewhere. It might be in France. I don't know. Anyway, cut that.
It's a great story, by the way.
It goes. They take him to the gallery, and Van Gogh is like amazed to see everybody loving all his artwork, right? And it's like everyone's going, "Oh, Van Gogh, he's incredible!" And he's like standing there, tears in his eyes. You know, he finally got through, but what's the point, really? Because he's like, you know, in reality, it's not like Doctor Who. He doesn't know that he finally got through, even though his work has affected like the future massively.
In the Whovian version of events, do some nerds come up and start wanging on to Doctor Who about, you know, messing up the timeline? So, and is that why he cuts his ear off?
No, that would be a better story.
Just like too much shit being spoken about like timelines. Like, oh man, I've had enough. That's it. I'm out.
That would be better.
Really. Ear off.
Yeah, but yeah, then like the Jim's lyrics, the bit about stepping into the wreck.
Yeah,
I like that because it's more positive. It's kind of saying, you know, making the best of a bad situation and just doing it, Right.
The race is over as if that matters.
Yeah, as if that matters. It doesn't matter. Right. It doesn't matter people's reaction. It doesn't matter whether you win or not. You just got to keep doing it.
That's good. I like that.
Is that going a bit too deep again?
No, I like it.
That's what the sort of stuff that we have to do on this podcast. We've got to like overanalyze stuff.
Yeah. I can't remember if we ever played that song live. We were talking about this at the weekend, weren't we?
Yeah.
I can't remember us ever playing it live. We should.
It would have been good. It would have been
machine.
good with a drummer, though, wouldn't it? It would have been good with when we finally got a drummer,
a real drummer,
the Jeff Bott 3000. He was an actual person. It would have been really nice, I think, to play that one, but maybe we didn't. Maybe we didn't have the required ambition to play to try and attempt that one. I don't know. Maybe
it was just too many people liked it.
Yeah, that's the problem, isn't it?
That seems to be the way that we do things.
That's the way we do it.
Yeah, I remember when we were recording that. I don't think we were the type to high-five each other, but we were metaphorically high-fiving each other.
I don't know. I think we actually did. I remember listening back to that after we recorded it, and it was like a real high point. Like we were like, "Oh, that's really," you know, it sounded really good when we put all the effects on the vocals and stuff, and all the weird little sounds, and it was great.
I'd forgotten how many keyboard ports there were at the end.
Yeah,
loads of synth
just say hi to Mark.
Hi, Mark.
Hi, Mark.
Well, I just sent him a message just to see if he has any memories of us playing that song live.
Yeah, well, maybe you can get back to us.
Yeah, but I have no memory of playing that song live ever, which is a shame.
Yeah, maybe we can do it next time we play live.
Maybe we could rock it in Miami at the Hard Rock Stadium with Peru this Saturday.
That would be good.
Jock, we're waiting for your call.
Let's hit it. It's time for me to have a bit of a rant, I think. I went to Day Fever. Now,
Okay.
listeners may not be aware of what Day Fever is, but I attended an event at Rock City a couple of Saturdays ago
Oh, yes.
called Day Fever. And it's a phenomenon. I was not really that into going, but I was made aware that it would be in my interest to attend it. And I walked in a bit late. It's an afternoon thing. So it started at like 3:00. So I was a bit delayed, and I met the people who I was going with inside there because I was late because I'd been building some really astounding garden storage in my brother's back garden.
Oh, yes, it's very much appreciated.
Yeah. And went into Rock City in Nottingham, but it was not the Rock City that I knew and remembered. It was a strange version of Rock City, which had been transformed into a very, very, very busy 1990s Butlins. It was very interesting. Everyone was between the ages of 30 and 60.
Mm-hmm.
The majority female persuasion. And I'm going to probably get slated for saying this. You might have to edit this out. But I am a very big fan of middle-aged women. You know, some of my favourite people are middle-aged women. But this was a bit overload, to be honest. Right. It was absolutely rammed. The place was rammed. And I went into the main bit of Rock City, as you can imagine. It's like, you know, as busy as I've ever seen it for like all the gigs I've been to, you know. It's busy as like any sellout gig, really. And on the stage was Vicky McClure. Who is an actress.
From Nottingham.
And she was in a tracksuit and she was hyping up the crowd. And then there was DJ and there was like people from the audience getting up on stage and dancing. And it was like 70s and 80s classics like ABBA, Weather Girls, Bonnie Tyler, etc. And I was like, what the hell is this? Right. But I kind of got into it. I was very, you know, I mean, people who listen to this podcast, maybe you've heard of it, maybe you haven't, right? But Day Fever is this massive thing. And it's like the whole retro culture. It's people who still want to go out, but are kind of getting on a bit.
Yes.
And they want to go out and rave, but then it's all over by, you know, it starts at 3, so it's all over by 8:00. I was very kind of like, oh my God, this is really not, I'm not into this when I walked in. But, you know, I had a couple of shandies, got over myself, and they put on some rave anthems. I had quite a good time in the end, actually.
Good.
You know, I put my cynicism aside. Yeah.
Excellent.
And why am I talking about this?
I don't know.
Because you don't know. Why am I talking about it? I'm talking about this because it kind of relates, you know. I mean, because I was thinking about it and being all dismissive about, oh, you know, all these people listening to like, this old music. But like that's what this podcast is, right? We're just doing it in a different way. We're just like hankering for a past, just like these people. It's all nostalgia, isn't it? Right? It's just different kind of nostalgia. It's our flavour of nostalgia, really. Yeah. And then this kind of relates to like the whole punk rock factory thing, because a few episodes ago, I was starting to talk about a new engagement opportunity where we want people to send in songs, re-recorded versions of songs from their youth or their childhood, right? And actually going to this Day Fever thing made me think, initially I was like, reconsidering whether that was actually a good idea. Maybe we don't want to go too nostalgic. And I don't know, what do you think, Steve?
I'm not sure. That was a very odd way to get to this point. I mean, I think I've spoken to a couple of people about the engagement opportunity, which is we're asking people to send songs which are inspired by or taken from their childhood or some kind of concept of childhood. And they're quite up for it. I mean, I think initially they're a bit like, oh, but then it is as broad as it is long. You could go as far as you want, or as deep as you want, or as shallow as you want with it. And
absolutely,
yeah, we've had submissions, and it's interesting. The people are thinking about it, so
that's good. All right, yeah. Well, I mean, I think the thing is, right, the people who listen to this podcast maybe are going to do something with it, though. Yeah. It's not just a matter of like just recreating the past. It's like making something new.
Yeah.
and so maybe something more original or more interesting than the hallowed punk rock factory.
Yeah, I mean, Punk Rock Factory, I'm not that enamored of them.
I think the clue's in the name, right? Punk rock,
Hmm.
which is surely the antithesis of a production line, capitalism,
Yeah.
and a factory.
It also sounds like it almost sounds like a soft play centre.
It does
Punk Rock
a bit,
Factory. You know
it
what I
kind
mean?
of is. And was it Robbie who said that thing about a picture of their amps? Because I
Yes.
remember seeing they had these big speakers behind them, these big
Marshall
pink stacks, right?
Yeah.
Behind them when they're performing, and it looked really impressive. And there was a picture, a view from the back, and they were completely hollow,
Yeah. It's a
which
sham.
is hilarious, right?
Yeah. But that's pretty much like punk rock.
Oh.
Discuss.
Oh, yeah. Right. As I've just said, I've been thinking about whether it's a good idea for an engagement opportunity, whether it's too backwards looking, or maybe we need to sort of think a bit more about the future,
Ooh.
you know, and think about, you know, making things for the future. And I prepared a little song, actually. So don't want to spring this on you, Steve, but
Yeah, go for it.
I've got Stacey here. Yeah, on my lap. Here she is.
Can we just explain that Stacey is your ludicrous name for your guitar?
Yeah, Stacey. Right. And Stacey and I are going to perform a song for our listeners. Are you ready for that?
Bring it.
Okay. Just might have to edit a little bit here because that might just take me a moment, right? Now the world don't move to the beat of just one drum. What might be right for you may not be right for some. A man is born, he's a man of means. Then along come two. They got nothing but the genes, but they got different strokes it takes. Different strokes it takes. Different strokes to move the world. Everybody's got a special kind of story. Everybody finds a way to shine. Don't matter what you got, not a lot. So what? They'll have theirs, you'll have yours, and I'll have mine. And together we'll be fine. Come on, Steve. Different strokes it takes. Different strokes it takes. Different strokes to move the world.
Yes, it does. It takes different strokes to move the world. Hum. It ended on a hum.
Do you think anyone will notice that that is quite retro?
That's very retro. That is not an original composition, is it, Giles?
Shh. Don't tell them. There's going to be people who don't know what that is.
Okay. Right. Now, there's only one song left to talk about, and you need to talk about it because, you know, there's probably a short list of least favourite songs we ever recorded, and this is definitely on it.
You know the reason I picked this one for this episode?
Yeah.
Because let me just explain something. Steve is like Steve is very much
The producer.
in charge of the admin of whatever we do, right? And he's the sort of person who writes lists and things. And he sent me a list of all the songs that we've recorded that he's got that we could feature. And it's quite a long list, right? But he deliberately left this one off.
Because it are shit.
And I just like your manipulation there that you tried to just completely erase this one from history.
Because it are shit.
Okay. But I disagree.
Okay.
And I want to hear this one. So we're going to put it in the podcast. It's a firm candidate for the best of This Are Johnny Domino Volume 2.
Never going to happen.
Which will be out at some point in the future. And I am going to rely on our listeners to lobby Steve about this. And when it does eventually end up on Spotify, I want to take it all the way to the top of our most played songs. All under 1,000, obviously, but, you know, it can still be at the top of the list. So this is a song. It's a sliver of a song. It's not very long. And it's on the album that we recorded called Solid Ground, which is, Steve's not that keen on it because it is probably more of our prog end of our spectrum. We kind of spread out a little bit on this album.
Yeah.
Right. We undid our belt and we kind of went with it. And this is a song called Dutch Girlfriend. And it features a sample from a song from Bugsy Malone, So You Want to Be a Boxer. So again, it's kind of harking back to songs of youth. There's some cracking songs on Bugsy Malone. Somebody should do some versions of some of them. There's some really great songs on there. Anyway, I love that drum beat. So we used it and we wrote a song about an imaginary Dutch girlfriend, which Steve hates.
Star, hold me by the arm. No, don't think you know her when we're on the farm. Golden rules are broken, shadows in the park. She's radioactive, body glowing in the dark. Don't want it to end with my Dutch girlfriend. She is a lady to me. She'd bring me coffee and tea, soft drinks and pineapple cheese for a small fee.
That's where another song comes in.
Yeah.
Really, what should happen? The drums should come in at that point. It should go on for another 3 minutes. But
You said it was a short song. It's 2 minutes and 30 seconds. It's long. For a short song, it feels long. You know, it needs editing.
What, down to 30 seconds?
At least. It's just, it doesn't do anything. You know, you've got a sample, and you know, I know this is, you got hold of Mark's sampler and you did a lot of stuff on it. And there's a recording somewhere we had like a really weird campy concert album by Dorothy Squires. He did a short collage of samples from that, and that would have been better on the album than Dutch Girlfriend.
Yeah.
And it would have been shorter. I'd have enjoyed that. But
I would
Dutch
have added
Girlfriend-
that as well. We should have had that on as well as Dutch Girlfriend.
Oh,
Come on, we're going for a kind of a maximalist kind of thing there.
I don't mind stuff that spreads out. I don't mind albums that take the pee or try your patience a bit, you know, like Wowie Zowie or 3 Feet High and Rising or De La Soul is Dead or, you know, any other kind of double album like Double Nickels on the Dime. Something where people spread out and indulge themselves. I just don't think that's very good. I just don't think it's a very good version of
Hey,
indulging yourself.
hey, different strokes for different folks, Steve.
Stop talking about different strokes. But it's just, no,
Anyway, I liked it. Do you know why I liked it?
because you did it.
Yeah, well,
You've done it.
but I quite
You've
like
done
this.
it.
I quite like the weird psychedelic sound, and I quite like your guitar playing. And I'm into sort of like Spaceman 3 and sort of stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
And you know, if it was longer, it could have been a bit more like that. But the main reason I like it, Steve, because it has the sound of my brother laughing on it.
I hate that guy. This is the guy I
love
hate.
That guy. That's the guy I love.
I hate him. He's an enabler. I'm an enabler of you and your daft brain. I'm there laughing at you. And
I think we enable each other.
possibly
We
so.
have a codependent relationship, Steve.
Oh, that is true. Yes.
Mm.
As has been commented before.
Yeah.
But I just think I just don't like it.
All right, well,
Just don't like
you don't have to like it. I don't like everything that we do. That's the whole point of this podcast. We don't have to like. We're not playing stuff that we just like. That would be very boring, wouldn't it?
Yes.
You know, we're not sort of going, hey, look at the greatest hits of Johnny Domino.
Mm.
Right. Anyway, yeah, I liked it. I don't think I've got anything else to say about it, though.
Excellent. If you are a new listener to the podcast, one of the things that we do is we listen to a batch of songs from our back catalogue.
We've just done that.
At the end of it, we select one to go on a best of compilation. Now, because we didn't write the Peru song, I'm sure Jock would be fine, but it all just gets a bit messy if we have a Peru song on a best of Johnny Domino compilation. I'm not sure how we'd go about doing a compilation. I'm sure somebody more intelligent than me will tell me how to do it. So if we can, that could go on there. I just don't think it can.
Okay.
So we've got Dutch Girlfriend. Not going to happen. We've got Brand New Complication.
Yep.
And we've got This One's for the Kid.
Oh, okay.
Now, which, if any, could you imagine going on a best of compilation, Giles?
I would go for This One's for the Kid
Mm-hmm.
and Dutch Girlfriend and Peru. Dutch Girlfriend, track 1, side 2 of the tape.
Okay, well, it's just not happening. You see, because I'd go for This One's for the Kid and Brand New Complication, especially if we can't get a Peru song on it, because then it has the indie pop-tastic side of the recordings that we all did at that period of time.
Okay. Well, for the sake of the podcast, I'm going to let you decide for now.
Good.
But that's, you know, we can always change it later. Go on.
Yeah, I know, but I'm not going to. And Dutch Girlfriend isn't going on it.
All right. Okay. We'll see. We'll see.
Well, in that case, it's This One's for the Kid and Brand New Complication.
Cool.
Thank you very much for listening to the podcast. If you have enjoyed the podcast, please share it with a friend.
Hold on a second for a moment there.
Wow,
Just
I
wait
nearly
a
got to the end of the podcast
wait a
then.
moment. I just thought of something.
Excellent.
You know, the people who listen to this podcast probably quite like a bit of old music TV clips, right? The sort of stuff that you trawl through on YouTube, right? And I want to tell you about the greatest bit of old music TV that you might not have seen.
It can't be Jonathan Richman,
It's not Jonathan Richman.
just for the sake of variety.
It is Bongwater performing You Don't Love Me Now on a program called Night Music in 1988.
Night Music, that is a mad program. There's loads of bonkers stuff on there.
Let's talk a bit about Night Music. Night Music was a program that was just aired in the US, right? And there's tons of great stuff on there. Sonic Youth played on it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and there's quite a few other people as well. Anyway, it was aired from 1988 to 1990. And I think they only did 2 seasons. And you know that Jules Holland was involved in it?
Yeah.
So this was before the Jules that we know on the BBC and his later program. I think this was kind of an influence on that.
Yeah, of course it was.
Yeah, this was a forerunner, right?
And also, the main host in America was jazz saxophonist David Sanborn.
He was, or Mr. Hare, as I like to call him.
Of course, Senior Hair.
Seen your hair if you watch the clip. So it's kind of interesting to dig into that. But this particular clip, let me sell it to you. You need to go away and watch it after you've listened to this podcast.
Yep.
It is a really exciting and interesting performance. I'll go through the bullet points. It's got an intro by Screaming Jay Hawkins.
Yep.
He does a kind of a weird improvised thing over a Led Zeppelin riff. There's a weird looking band, right? Bongwater, a very strange looking collection of people. They look like, it's like as if the X-Men have formed a band. There's like a Captain Caveman type character on guitar. Kramer looks like a kind of a puppet scarecrow on bass. He looks almost inhuman. Anne Magnuson, the singer, she's got a crazy halo of hair that looks like some kind of Indian headdress or something, right?
Yeah.
There's like church choir ladies doing backing vocals. The song has a heartbreaking sentiment, and it's a celebratory and anarchic performance.
Yeah.
It's really good. You should definitely go and watch it. And stay tuned right to the end, because there's at the end of the clip, it goes into the next bit of the program, and it's got artist the Spoon Man explaining how spoons can express different emotions if you play them differently. Check it out.
There's also another link to an occasionally returning feature on this very podcast.
What's that,
with
Steve?
night music. Well, David Sanborn,
Yeah.
smooth jazz saxophonist,
Yeah.
played on Your Party by Ween.
Did he?
He's
That's
the sax player.
amazing. That's amazing.
They decided they needed some sexy saxophone, and they got David Sanborn in to do it.
Oh, that's great. I'm going to picture him doing it next time I listen to that song.
With his hair. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
The clip's also got Bob Weir.
David Sanborn died a few months ago.
R.I.P. David Sanborn. The clip's also got Bob Weir in it, who's a founding member of the Grateful Dead, who looks like the straightest guy ever.
Compared to Bongwater.
Yeah, crazy.
Wowzers. Thank you for listening to the podcast. If you have enjoyed it, please share it with a friend and like and subscribe wherever you are listening to this podcast right now. Please join us on our social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, and on an old-fashioned blog, and you will find all kinds of audio-visual material related to the songs that we have talked about on there.
And send in some stuff.
Send in some stuff. Yes. If you've got any tapes of things that you've recorded in the past under your bed, or a huge box of CDs, I'll take one off your hands. If you want to send it to me, not a box, a single CD. We've got enough boxes of CDs. It's kind of like inside Llewyn Davis. My favourite bit in that film is Llewyn Davis. He's going all over New York trying to find somewhere to sleep, and he's carrying a box of his records that weren't sold. They're all remaindered by his record label. He goes to this guy's house, and he finds a table. He thinks, I'll put them under there. And he goes to put them under the table, and the guy whose house he's in, he's got his own box of records under there.
Yeah, exactly. So you can get rid of one of them to us if you've
not a box. Not a box.